Hello guys, just reviewing Fantastic Four, the 2005 and 2007 film, all in one video, since the story is pretty straightforward anyway, with what it's about. You basically get to see the origin, which is something we won't really get to see in like the new one. And if you know the origin, I guess that's why they probably decided to skip like 4 years past their origin. So they're already like established and have been saving people. That's how the new one's gonna be. But in this one you get to see how it all starts with the Fantastic Four first forming together, and then working with Von Doom, I guess, and seeing them all get their powers together, I guess, when they tried to do this some space operation that just ends up going wrong. But yeah, I kind of have like a guilty pleasure of these films, because, you know, I basically grew up with these films, but I know they're not really that great. And we've never really got a great Fantastic Four film, so hopefully this new one can actually be good. At the time I'm reviewing this, I guess my brother's going to go see it now. And I might be watching it tomorrow, but yeah. Just want to give my thoughts on the original films that I grew up with, yeah, which, again, I had guilty pleasure with, so I have like a bias on these films. Like, I like them more than, I guess, what other people did. They're just fun. Like, if you don't take them too serious and stuff, they're just fun films to watch. But obviously, the animated TV shows which I've been rewatching recently, and the comics obviously have done them better. But yeah, I'd say they cast them pretty well as well, like the actors they got, and the late actor who played as Von Doom, like he did a good job too. Just Mr. Fantastic, you know, The Thing, Human Torch, Chris Evans, who plays also Captain America, like he played both so well, because he went from Human Torch, someone so immature, to like literally someone to look up to with Captain America. Like he played two completely different roles so well, and obviously is the most skilled actor in these films, I guess. Yeah. And Reed Richards, like he definitely plays the smart man well, I guess. Yeah. I just say that they cast everyone well, and The Thing's just my favourite anyway. And it's just funny going back to these films after watching The Shield, because man, I didn't even know how good of an actor he actually could be, so maybe I could say he's probably the best actor out of all these people after finally watching The Shield. And to me, probably this makes his career go down a bit, being in these films. Because like I said, they're just guilty pleasure films, and they're not that great. I just grew up with them, so I have more enjoyment out of them. I even played the movie license games, which were pretty good too. But yeah, I just know like this affected a lot of their careers. Like Jessica Alba with the second film, like literally she quit acting for a bit, I think. And you know, the Finn actor, you know, he didn't really do much afterwards. I guess the Mr. Fantastic actor was in some decent shows afterwards, and I guess the biggest one out of them was the Human Torch actor, you know, Chris Evans. Like he definitely got to do better things after with Captain America, like being one of the biggest characters in the MCU. So yeah, he definitely upgraded out of all of them, and it just sucks that the Finn actor, like he probably actually did have the most skill out of all of them, but you know, his career didn't really get better after these films. I saw him in Gotham, which he was pretty good in, but other than that, he hasn't really been in much after The Shield, because The Shield probably is like the highlight of his career, in my opinion. Yeah, Chris Evans, I guess, Captain America, but he played Human Torch well, and there's some other characters he's played as that are pretty good. But yeah, basically when they come to Earth, they basically realising that they have powers now. The Finn, he has like a late reaction, but everyone else, you can clearly see that they've changed a bit. Like him, like, you know, Mr. Fantastic becoming Mr. Fantastic, like stretching his arms, like Invisible Woman actually using their powers without realising, and just the way how they make her use her powers in this is just so bad. With her always being naked, like the director just, he probably had a thing for her, but then he ends up insulting her because she can't really cry on demand, and that's what made her want to quit acting, because of how, I guess, the director treated her like making fake tears and stuff. Fake CGI tears, yeah. And Von Doom, with how he gets his powers, is more disturbing, I guess. Like, just rewatching it just reminds me of Spider-Man 1 with Norman Osborn, with how he gets his powers. It's just so similar. Does similar stuff like throwing his own employees around and stuff, yeah. But it's cool how they get the powers. It's just what they do with them is the bad thing, I guess. and he goes home to see his wife, but his wife's scared of him, which is played by the Andrea actress from The Walking Dead, and yeah, she's just terrible. She just completely abandons him because it seemed like she was close with Ben. I mean, literally they were married, but then she just completely is like, "Oh, I don't want nothing to do with you after you've become a monster." Like, she's terrified of him, like he's a walker. And then he's just like sad, I guess. And then he sees a guy trying to commit suicide on the bridge. He tries to save him, but it just goes out of hand, and the flipping bridge just gets destroyed, and people end up in danger because of just him trying to save someone. And then when the others get involved, it just gets worse and worse. And then Invisible Woman has to go naked to be able to escape him, because I guess they haven't really got the outfits to make her fully invisible. Yeah. So yeah, they're just trying their best to cause less damage, I guess. Them basically saving people, even though they kind of caused the disaster, and that's always been my biggest issue with this film. Did I even notice this when I was a kid too? Because it's probably one of the worst scenes in a superhero film, because literally they caused the disaster. At least no one dies, but there's a lot of property damage that was caused by them, which they probably never pay for. Where I'm watching a cartoon show and I have to pay for something they didn't even damage. Like when Galactus is trying to destroy the Earth and they damage the Baxter building, they get blamed for it, I guess. Even though it was Galactus who was causing the destruction. But then there's this, they don't even take no blame. Even the cops are ready to arrest them, but everyone's cheering. Even the fire people are cheering, flipping out, the firefighters. And just let them go. It's just so stupid. It's just such a bad scene. And you just see the wife just come up, giving the wind back and stuff, whatever. But yeah, they're just viewed as heroes after that. Call them the Fantastic Four, getting all the trademark stuff. Yeah. And you're just seeing Ben and flipping Johnny just always arguing, which is just, the chemistry is just so good. It's just the cast when it comes to the chemistry are just perfect. But it's just the writing and the way how they use the Fantastic Four could have been better. Yeah, but they're basically testing Johnny's powers here about going supernova and how that could be dangerous, because when he goes supernova, he could literally kill everyone. He could destroy a whole city if he wanted to. So you can only use it at certain times, I guess, near the end of the film when they're fighting Von Doom. And I just wonder if Robert Downey Jr. can do a better job than this actor. We know Robert Downey Jr.'s got the skill, but come on, why does he have to be Doom when he played as literally the most iconic character in the MCU, Iron Man? It's just so stupid. And I'm just hoping they have a replacement actor, it's just in one film and then the film afterwards, after Doomsday, it's a different actor. I was still hoping for Cillian Murphy. That would have been the best choice. And there's more than one Doom. It would have been cool if we actually got to see his Doom again, but sadly he passed away. Rest in peace. Yeah. Because I basically grew up with him on these films, I guess, and he was in some other stuff as well. But I just mainly know him for this, which probably isn't the best stuff of his career. But I'd say he played Doom well. Yeah. But all the characters are lovable. Yeah. I've seen them have a little fight. Johnny and flipping the thing. Sue getting in the way, saying to have a timeout, since that's Johnny's sister. Yeah. Just gotta love the chemistry, and at least the Finn ends up finding a new girlfriend when he's in the bar, getting treated badly. This blind lady comes up to him. She's the best in him. Probably can feel what he probably is like, but I just wonder how she would have reacted seeing him, but I feel like she would have accepted him anyway. So he ended up finding his true soulmate afterwards. And then I guess you could say Von Doom in a way is kind of instigating things with Mr. Fantastic and the Thing, because Mr. Fantastic said at the beginning of the film that he's going to try his best to help him, but it feels like it's taking too long, because literally Von Doom's got closer to helping him more, and he's just basically instigating with Mr. Fantastic caring more about being with Sue instead of actually helping him. So the Thing just easily gets pissed off, I guess. Yeah, so he's easily manipulated. Yeah, then they end up having a fight, which Mr. Fantastic wins, even though the Finn's stronger, but it's hard to get out of someone who's basically elastic. Overpowers him. Yeah. So then he decides to crit beam with him. And then he tests the machine, but he ends up not working out. Like, he ends up falling apart. Yeah. But then he ends up working for Doom. He's able to, like, make him go back to normal. But then he just kicks his ass afterwards, because his goal is to get rid of the Fantastic Four so he can achieve his goals. He puts on the Doom mask, and he ends up taking them out one by one, but they end up realising they need to work together, otherwise they're going to lose, which they end up doing, because like Mr. Fantastic just ends up getting turned into this, because basically when you make code like literally rubber, it could just easily break, I guess. So if he just touched him in a certain way, like, man, he'd be dead in this scene. But you know, Sue comes to help, and then the Thing comes and just kicks his ass. Like, it's just, the last bit of stuff is pretty good, yeah. But it sucks that the third act's the best part of the film. The first act's okay because you're just seeing their chemistry, and then the second act is just a bit because they're literally causing some of the chaos, and to me they don't even deserve their representation anyway. Well, their reputation, because you compare it to literally X-Men, where they're just trying to live normal lives, but then you have cops shooting at them, and then you flip and see the Fantastic Four causing chaos, but then they end up getting fame from that. It's just, it's crazy. And yeah, their fight with Doom was pretty cool. All of them working together. Johnny going supernova, Sue controlling it, and the Thing just putting him out afterwards, and literally turning him into flipping. He basically can't move. It's like a statue, and they just put him in a container, which I guess they thought was the smartest thing to do. And they're just patting at the end, yeah. And then Doom's just locked up. Probably think he died in the suit, but he's still alive, I guess. And at least back in the day, they actually kept their villains alive, because that's one of the biggest issues with the MCU, to just kill off their villains. So at least they didn't kill him off so he could be in the second film. But it kind of sucks to be in the second film, even though I still, I don't know, I feel like growing up I liked the first one more, but the second one's, it's, I don't know, because I feel like my brother loves the second film more than me. I mean, I don't even love these films, but I do have a guilty pleasure from, like I said, so I can get actually enjoyment out of them if I just want a chill film to watch, yeah. But yeah, that's my review of the first one, so let's go to the second one. Alright, so I'm reviewing the second film now. So this one's about the Silver Surfer. So we actually get to see the Silver Surfer in this, and man, the CGI for Silver Surfer is just so good. And how you get to see just the whole world reacting to the Silver Surfer. Because it's literally affecting the whole world, because, you know, Galactus, the one who eats planets, and oh man, it's going to be finally good to actually see Galactus in live action, because in this they just show him as a flipping cloud, which is just so stupid. So I just can't wait to see him in live action. That's one of the things I can look forward to in the new film, because I don't really like them turning Silver Surfer into a flipping woman, which is just stupid. I mean, they said that happened in the comic, but it seems like it was only briefly. So having a whole film with her, with them being a woman, and then wasting the actress when she could have been Rogue. To me, she would have been perfect for Rogue after watching Ozark. Like, I love doing Ozark. She was my favourite character. But wasting her to be the Silver Surfer, it's just so stupid. Yeah, because I don't think they're going to be able to use the Silver Surfer as much anyway. Especially if it's in a different universe, and they're going to end up going to, like, the MCU universe. Yeah. But yeah, basically something's happening to the world, so, you know, Reed Richards has to, like, work with a general to sort it out while getting married with Sue. So he's trying to juggle that. Yeah. From Doom reawakens. They end up having a little bachelor party, and just this scene's just probably like one of the best scenes in the film. Like the scene they've been having a little dance, and then Mr. Fantastic's infamous dance. Like, man, it's just so hilarious, this scene. Yeah, probably like the best Mr. Fantastic scene. It's just so hilarious. Just seeing him dance. Like, man, I mean, I didn't show the whole scene, but yeah, because TikTok can just be crazy with copyright, and then oh my god, if I upload this on YouTube, but yeah. But yeah, the general's asking for his help. He kind of turns him down at first, but they end up coming to some agreement, I guess, since it's very serious. And you know, Johnny's just hitting on one of the general's people, but she wants nothing to do with him. But it seems like by the end of the film, they kind of, I don't think they get together, but I don't know if she has some kind of interest with him, but you know, whatever. But you know, Von Doom's just putting back on his mask. He knows what's going on with the, I guess, Silver Surfer, so he tries to confront him. Like, this movie just goes by so fast because it's shorter than the first one. It's literally just 1 hour and 30 minutes. Like, they didn't even bother with this film to make it long. Because probably how the first one did. Probably did good enough to get a sequel, but it was like, ugh, we're not going to try and make it as long as the first one. No way. Because if they actually was doing this story justice, it would have been a lot longer. But they wanted to rush this story. Yeah. But yeah, I guess Reed Richards ends up getting cold feet about getting married after he sorts out everything with the satellite. But obviously this is not going to fully work out anyway, because he knows there's an incoming danger while he's focused on getting married. So man, imagine all that pressure. And then when they get married and he reveals that he kind of has like something with him, you know, she gets a bit annoyed, but literally the threat comes to him, so they have to fight it, and then flipping things are falling, and then, you know, Human Torch goes after Silver Surfer, which is the best scene in the film, obviously. Seeing the Silver Surfer just absorb full stuff, and Johnny just trying to keep up without hurting anyone. It's just so good. Like, the CGI, it's perfect with the Silver Surfer. I don't know how they'll do with the new one, but I just know that's gonna be the thing I like the least in the new film. Maybe they can get to a point where I accept it, and just seeing the Silver Surfer just take Johnny to space and he just passes out while falling. I'm surprised he didn't burn up, but since he's Human Torch, makes sense, I guess. And him getting ready to take over the world for Galactus, yeah. And then I guess since Silver Surfer did something to Johnny, he kind of did something to Von Doom as well, but in a more positive way. Like, he kind of erased some of like what was happening to Von Doom's body, because it was kind of like messing up his body, but it actually made him fully go back to normal. I think he still had his like lightning powers, but other than that, like, he looked fully normal, in which we'll see him soon. But basically, when he starts touching like the Fantastic Four, he ends up giving him his powers, and I guess Sue goes on fire, and then they make another joke of her going naked again, yeah, and taking pictures. It's just so bad, man. They treated Jessica Alba so bad in this film. And then he literally turns into the Finn when he touches him, and he's like, come on! And you know, the Finn has like his fire powers and throws a fireball at him. It's just perfect, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of really has those kind of powers, because you think it'd be saving us that something like that for the like Super Skrull, which, if things continued on, I don't even know how that would have been. And you kind of get to fight the Super Skrull in the Super Surfer game on 360. But yeah, I just don't know if they would have found a way to tie that into like the game, like from the movie, since they literally used some of that in this. Yeah. But it was Johnny Storm who had that kind of ability. Yeah, this is when he confronts him. But when the Silver Surfer attacks him, he goes back to normal. Well, Von Doom attacked him first because he wasn't listening to him, so you know, he ends up hitting him, but instead of actually affecting him in a bad way, it just literally heals him. Yeah. And then finding out what's the threat, and then they go to the location. The Ferris wheel ends up getting destroyed, but they try their best to save everyone. And this is probably like one of the best moments of them actually saving someone instead of actually causing the chaos. And you just kind of seeing Johnny turn into Mr. Fantastic's powers, yeah. And there's like a massive hole, which this could be literally the whole of New York if they can't stop this threat, to the point where it's the whole world, and it's just completely destroyed, I guess, by Galactus, since he has a hunger, and if he doesn't eat, I guess he dies, so he kind of has no choice. And it's unclear what the Silver Surfer actually does to Galactus at the end. Yeah, they just make him go to like another planet or what? There's no way he actually single-handedly just kills flipping Galactus. I've never really thought, like, does he actually kill him in that scene? But yeah, they end up having to work with Von Doom even though they don't trust him. Literally, the thing just grabs his neck. But they're ordered by the general to listen to him. Yeah. So they have to work with him to make sure they can stop this threat because it could destroy the whole world, I guess. Yeah. Then they find out that, you know, Sue and Mr. Fantastic want to disassemble the Fantastic Four after all this is over. So the Finn and Johnny are kind of annoyed about that, I guess. Especially Johnny, which is surprising. You'd think he'd be a lone wolf anyway, but he actually probably... Because he doesn't really have a family. Like, he doesn't really have, like, a love interest or anything that he can actually depend on. He has, like, this fake girlfriend who I guess he doesn't really care about, so... This probably is only he actually has. Because even though he seems immature and stuff, like, you kind of see his character developing in this, but then when you go to Deadpool and Wolverine, he's just back to being immature, which ends up causing his demise. But yeah. He tries to have a thing with this girl, but she just, like I said, thinks he's immature. Yeah. But I just can't tell if they actually get together at the end of the film. Yeah. But it probably doesn't work out. And I just wonder what happens to all of them in the Deadpool Wolverine timeline. Since the Fox universe just seems like it gets messed up, but it seems like they kind of restore it in some way, so... I don't know if Johnny's death in that film, which if you haven't watched Deadpool Wolverine, where have you been? And these films in general, where you been? Like, I don't know if that erases Johnny's death and a lot of the characters that I guess were dead. Like, I think Daredevil was dead as well, which Elektra kind of addresses. So all those characters that died, I don't know if they'd basically still be alive. And then I don't think they'd kill Blade anyway, or the original Blade, the Wesley Snipes Blade, so... And like they said, the universe gets restored, so it makes me wonder who are actually still alive in the restored Fox universe, which I don't even know if you can still call it the Fox universe, since the Fox gave the rights back to, you know, Marvel, which Disney kind of own it anyway, so yeah. Disney has the control of what happens if they decide to, like, bring some of these characters back in Doomsday or Secret Wars, yeah, which they could. So we could possibly, like, actually see the old Fantastic Four from the 2000s come back, but I just don't know about the Von Doom actor. Like, it would have been cool to see him again, and just seeing him get revenge on Silver Surfer's nice, I guess, when they stop him, because they basically put a trap for him and they take him down. Because they need to try to get information out of him, but it seems like Sue Storm has, like, a relationship with him. Von Doom's just playing him to get the board, because he wants the power. Yeah, he doesn't even care about saving the world, he just wants power, I guess. But Von Doom's, like, literally in comics and animated shows, like, when the world's in danger, he'll still defend it because, you know, he wants to actually have rule of the world. So, yeah. So he's kind of out of character in this film. Not wanting to at least protect the world and then just actually double-cross him when the world's saved. Which to me would have made more sense, instead of him just double-crossing before the world's saved. Because... what's it going to do with all that power when the world's gone? So it kind of makes no sense to me. Yeah. So I feel like they kind of failed Von Doom in the sequel, because it literally makes no sense. And he ends up killing the general and stuff when he gets the board. Yeah. And then they just release the Silver Surfer, and they need to try and get to Von Doom and fight him to get the board back. Which I guess Mr. Fantastic reveals that he has, like, a new vehicle for them to drive. It's like a flying vehicle, the one that you see in the animated show. Yeah, which is cool. And they're just fighting Von Doom, and it just gets to a point where I guess Johnny just absorbs all their powers, and he just literally becomes Super Skrull and fights Von Doom to get the board back. Galactus is getting close, and I hate it so much that he's a flipping cloud. It's so stupid. I just can't wait to see the actual Galactus in the film. That's why I've tried to not watch any more trailers. I just want it to be fully revealed to me without, you know, actually seeing from the trailer, like, because I love to spoil that shit. And yeah, just that last scene with Johnny using all their powers to fight Von Doom, it's just perfect. I think I prefer the final fight in the first one, because I just prefer the first film in general. This movie just goes by so fast, and it feels like not enough happens. Oh yeah, and Sue Storm did die, but I guess when Silver Surfer got his powers back, he just resurrected her. So it's not the first time one of these Fantastic Four members died, I guess. And it wasn't for Silver Surfer, she'd stay dead, I guess. And like his emotion is definitely pretty good. So when you're seeing like, I guess Jessica Alba not really do that well with emotion, the director, he's just treating her badly, man. Like, man, just the way how Jessica Alba was treating this, it's just terrible. But yeah, when he's acting like he truly feels like he's literally lost someone he cares about, and then Jessica Alba, she just literally dies in such a plain way. It's just literally funny. But yeah, he just brings her back to life. Yeah. Because man, you got literally Tom Holland in flipping Infinity War. Even though he doesn't stay dead, like they really make that feel emotional. Like when I watched that in cinemas, I was like, damn. I think my brother was crying. I think anyway. But yeah, so he definitely did a better job. That's just making a comparison to like Jessica Alba, who just, I have to say, she didn't really do that great of a job when it came to her death scene. But anyway, it didn't really last that long anyway. It was only like a few minutes, and then everyone was just, they basically won. Everyone's back together. They decided to like keep the Fantastic Four going, which probably continued off screen. They tried to get married again. It seems like they kind of have to save the world at the same time, but yeah, it seems like they kind of get together at the end of the film, since they're literally standing next to each other. But I don't think you see them kiss or anything. But yeah. Yeah, they just leave to their next mission, which we'll never get to see. It seems like Silver Surfer, after whatever he did to Galactus, he's still alive, I guess. So it would be cool if we actually got to see this Silver Surfer again, because he did a really good job with playing Silver Surfer. And I'd love to see him again in Secret Wars. Even though I'm just sick of these cameo shit, I'm just hoping Secret Wars is the final time we have to watch cameo MCU. I just want true stories again. I want the X-Men fully rebooted, just new X-Men, no more old X-Men that we've had for like over 20 years. I just want MCU to finally get to a point where they're doing things right instead of just cameos, nostalgia, no good writing, bad black characters. And since I'm black, I want actually good black characters like Mr. Terrific in, the Superman film, instead of flipping Ironheart with bad character development. Like, come on, man. They need to pick MCU up again, man. Get back to what we used to have, because the Infinity Saga was so good. This recent saga, the Multiverse Saga, has just been a fail. Just full of cameos and shit. No good story development for the most part. No Way Home, that was like one of the few good films, and Guardians 3. I mean, Deadpool Wolverine's, I guess, a good film, but it's a cameo movie. It's fully a cameo movie. Bringing back characters just to kill them off, like the X-Men, Johnny Storm, like, yeah. So that's why I just want this era of Marvel to be over, and them actually getting some good writers to make the other stuff. And as for Daredevil Born Again, I mean, I'd say it's great, but it's just not as good as the original show. I'm literally watching, I've been rewatching the Marvel Netflix shows, which I guess are now part of the MCU. I'm actually watching Jessica Jones season 3 for the first time before, season 2 comes out, since Jessica's gonna come back. So yeah, I never really got around to it because, after Daredevil season 3 and Punisher season 2, I was basically done. So I never really got around to Jessica Jones season 3. So it's been refreshing rewatching it, because I just love how realistic and just the way how they made characters feel. They felt like actual real people, instead of just fake and goofy and shit like what the MCU normally does. They actually make them truly feel like real characters. Like, you literally see people live their lives, and that's what I love about the Marvel Netflix shows. And they kind of got a bit of that back in Born Again, but there's still a few issues of that show, which I've already talked about before, and I've talked about when I was reviewing the show. So yeah. But yeah, other than these films, they're just guilty pleasures. They're fun, but if you don't like them, I don't blame you. They're not really that great. It's just because I grew up with them, I have like a guilty pleasure bias, I guess. I like them. If I was going to rate them, the first one, 6.8 out of 10, and then the second one 6.4. I just don't like it as much, but it's still fun to watch, I guess. They're nothing special. I mean, people will probably rate them even lower, and on Rotten Tomatoes they rate like in like the 37. I think, is the first one rated lower? I don't know if it's like 27 or something. But yeah, these films are at least better than Van Forstic. So if you compare these films to Van Forstic, these movies are masterpieces. And then we'll see how this new one turns out. I just know I'm just gonna have one flaw that I just don't like with Silver Surfer being a woman. It's just not right. But yeah, if they get Galactus right, at least that's cool. So they get one character right, but then decide to get another character wrong. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, obviously I don't have nothing against women characters, because literally Jessica Jones, what I'm watching right now, to me is the best developed superhero in anything, and it seems like James Gunn's going to do a similar thing with like a trauma type of character like Jessica Jones with Supergirl, with like one of her most biggest public comic books, which I've never read, which I've heard really good things about it, which is going to be cool to see when that comes out. And again, the House of Dragon actress, so it's probably going to be really good then. Yeah. But yeah, I should probably end things while I'm talking about other things. So yeah, be looking forward to the new film. I'll give my opinions, of course. But yeah, other than that, appreciate you watching. Appreciate you can leave a like. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.